Up, guys? Just wanted to start this video by saying welcome. Welcome, you made it. It's 2025. God, what a year 2024 was. It was so good. I didn't want it to end. It was a great year overall. Very adventurous. A lot of risk taking, boundary violations. I very much was running rampant, causing a lot of scenes and a lot of trouble, but it's a part of my process, and we got to embrace the journey and where we are. Like, looking back at how many things happened and how many scenes I caused, all essential. All essential, and we have to be willing to sacrifice everything for the sake of growth. And when I mean everything, I do mean everything, even ourselves. Like, I look at myself now compared to where I've been, and it's just like, holy shit, like, I'm a whole new being. And, things don't just happen like that. Like, it requires seeking the daily discomfort. And it requires you being okay with things not being okay, and taking action even when you don't feel like it. It requires all the hard things that most people don't want to do, but it's that discomfort, that unfamiliarity, and that real, like, change of self that's gonna create the change that we want in life, right? And that's how we can continue to propel and move forward, by knowing that there is an expected outcome, right? And once we have that perspective, then being able to let go of the outcome and just enjoy the process. I feel like that's where a lot of people get lost. I've always been very process oriented, so I just make sure, like, I'm having fun every day, because one of my life values is fun, and I refuse to not live a fun moment, day, or life. Like, that's number one for me. So I've always, no matter how much pain or how much, like, challenges I'm going through, I'm always having fun, and that's what's kept me going this long, and I continue to keep things that way. But this video is just kind of like a welcome 2025 and 2024 lessons thing. There's no structure to it. I literally just woke up with this topic on my mind, and I'm just gonna do it because I just feel called to do it. But there's a couple of things that I did want to mention about 2024, and I'm gonna do that right now. Yeah, so I mean, there's a new year, and with a new year comes a lot of expectations, not only from ourselves but of other people. It can get very overwhelming with vision boards and goal setting and things like that. But I want to ask you guys to really take the opposite approach and just focus on being with yourself right now. Where are you right now? Are you happy with who you are? Are you happy with the way you feel? Are you happy with your life? If not, be patient with yourself. Take a little deep dive in and see what exactly about yourself and your life would you like to change. There's a lot of simple ways to do things and a lot of complex to do things, and I'm always a firm believer in, if you could do something simply, don't cause yourself the mental burnout of doing things complex. So just do things very, very simply. Choose one area of your life that you do want to maximize, and in choosing that area, know that since it's the weakest area, or the one that you want to improve the most, it's automatically gonna affect all the other stutter day. I know the one that's coming for me, but I'll let you guys know. So know that when you choose that area of your life, like, it's gonna affect all the other areas. And for me, I've avoided the relationships area of my life for a very long time. Um, Both love and like kind of friendship and familial relationships, because I've gone through a lot of pain. And I had to come to terms with myself that it was nobody's fault. Like, the pain that I went through was nobody's fault but my own. Like, when we get to a point where we realize that our thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and patterns and our toxic habits are the ones that are really creating the pain in our bodies, we free ourselves from the load of life, because we realize that nobody can make us feel any way we don't already feel about ourselves. You know? Like, it's just when you know something down to your core, nobody can convince you otherwise. Like, for example, nobody can tell me that I'm not a loving person, because I know in my heart I radiate love from every fiber of my being. And if somebody were to tell me that I'm not a loving person, it would bounce off. It would bounce right off, because I'm that confident and secure in that area of myself. But now, with that being said, when somebody does say something and you feel a little ick, tick, or nerve, or you feel a little bit insecure about it, that means that's an area of your life that you need to reevaluate and kind of find your truth in that area, because maybe you haven't been so honest with yourself. And I'm a huge believer in honesty. Like, just honesty with ourselves and honesty with other people is the foundation to just not only a strong character, but just like healthy relationships. So I'm always pushing for honesty. Um so yeah, really look at those little things and triggers that sting in our lives and evaluate, like, what lie am I holding on to? You know? Um why? What's the actual truth? You know? And it takes work to like break down the beliefs and the patterns, but it all begins with a choice. And if we don't make that choice, we will forever be stuck in those patterns. So yeah, this is making my mind a little crazy right now, because I have no like structure. But hey, that's another lesson of 2024. I create the structure for myself from the inside out. Like, I'm so confident in my discipline, my precision, and my ability to execute, that I already created that strong sense of structure and foundation in my life. So I'm okay with going with the flow. I'm okay with using my intuition to guide me. Like, this used to terrify me. Like, I was very much that person in school where I used to like, people used to always say like I was an excellent communicator and an excellent public speaker. But like, I had to have my bullets, you know? And I kind of, I had them there for like safety and security, because it made me feel like I had something to talk about. But in the end, like, the real moments that people loved was when I went off plan and I just cracked jokes and just made a whole fool of myself. Yeah, those are the best moments that people remember, and that's what life is all about. Being okay with not being on plan sometimes, because that is a part of the greater plan, you know? It's always leading us somewhere, and we just have to be okay with that. Um, yeah, that's another one. So yeah, for me in 2024, I definitely didn't have as much structure as I grew up with. I think for me, I've always clinged to structure because I didn't really have that like sense of structure or discipline like in my home or with my parents. But I realized like I really could create this for myself through my daily choices, habits, beliefs, and I can create that foundation from within so that I feel safe and secure enough to not only just in my body, but to actually build relationships. And relationships is an area of my life I've been focused on for a very, very long time. And as you guys can notice, I'm literally like a snail in this category. I'm not a speed demon like I am in every other area of my life. I'm a snail. Like I'm like, I take a step, I take a little mini step up, and then I'm just like, okay, 10 step back, and then I can breathe, and then I'm just like I'm a little snail in relationships, you know. And I'm not even judging myself. I don't wish things were different. There's a reason why I am that way, and I just trust my body. I trust myself in continuing to progress, because ultimately progress is what makes the biggest difference. Like just being able to continue to just make progress towards whatever you're working through. So that's very, very important. Um, yeah, what else is that? There's also communication. Like 2024, life put me in a position where I had no choice but to communicate, right? I know avoiding communication sometimes is the easy way out, right? But not the beneficial, especially when we're energy beings and being in environments can trigger us, different people in different ways. I have a very difficult work environment, and that I'm grateful for it because it has taught me to like just communicate more, enforce boundaries, which is very, very important, and just, seek the discomfort every day, because, and I will say I've definitely built a stronger relationship with God this past year because, I hate to say it, but like when you really go through tough times, like we always know God has our back, you know, but it's those times where we kind of run away from Him and kind of realize, oh, I can't do this alone. I actually need someone. And it's like, I do want to say, like, we should really work on building our relationship with God every single day. Not just in the good or bad moments, but every day. He deserves to be watered, spoken to, loved, and appreciated every single day of our existence. And we should honor Him in everything that we do, from speaking to somebody to work. Everything that we do should be an expression of Him, because that's our best form of worship, And I definitely don't want to criticize or judge like churches or anything of that, which, yeah, I already felt my intuition tell me, you don't even need some things like that. You don't even need to bring up. Like, people believe what they want to believe. People do what they want to do. At the end of the day, whatever brings you closer to God, do that. And I'm gonna say, a lot of people think that is the church, but honestly, like, certain relationships, communities can do more for an individual more than a church ever will. So for me, like, finding communities where I feel safe, vulnerable, and I can grow my relationship with God has been number one. And at the time, like, I'm not going to church, I'm not really doing any of those things, but I feel spiritually grounded and like I'm leveling up because I have those relationships in my life. So I really urge you guys to really take a deep dive of your relationships and see which relationships are helping and or harming your relationships with God, and make the changes where necessary, because life is about creating the best version of ourselves and building our relationship with God. So when we choose to make that choice and be selective of who we allow with our time, energy, and resources, we can find that sweet spot for God and that place for God that He deserves. And we can free up and create more space, not only physically, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally, which is the things that we all seek. I also, this year was huge for me in terms of like learning to listen to my inner child, because inner Madeline, oh boy, inner Madeline is a little freaking brat who always got her way. but she's also a very she was also a very, well, she's still living in me, and I'm so glad that I'm able to nurture and care for her every single day of my life. But she was a very, like, to herself, very much feeling unsafe, unloved, uncared for, like she never fit in. um I guess she was a very sad and angry little girl. And I ask her all the time, like, why? I try to, like, she helps me a lot. She gives me a lot of insights as to what the work that I have to continue to do in my day to day. And, you know, at her core, she was a very loving being, but I guess she just went through like a lot of inner turmoil and didn't know what to do with her emotions. So she struggled a lot with her emotions. And till this day, I would believe that I still somewhat do struggle. And it's a daily battle with my emotions, but I do the best that I can. And being able to just show up for myself and just do the work emotionally every day makes little Madeline feel safe, because she doesn't have to worry about bursting out of anger. And I mean, not I would say rage at this point. Like, little Madeline used to get down and just beat up men and boys. And, till this day, like, I still intimidate a lot of men. And I don't give off that vibe anymore. I feel like I've tapped in more with, like, my more feministic qualities. I still have very much masculine qualities, but I've tapped in more with my feministic qualities. And a lot of men are still intimidated me, because I think little Madeline is still she kind of gives off that vibe. But yeah, the point of this is being able to listen to and honor your inner child without giving into the toxic and unhealthy habits. Because little Madeline used to eat candy, sugar, and just fill herself up with so much junk just because she didn't know what to do with her emotions. She felt bad and she thought that that was her solution, and it's just not. It's just not her solution. It never was. Little Madeline needed love and care and attention, and the more I show up for myself in those ways, the more happy she is. The more happy she is, the happier I am. Because if, a happy, there's a saying that goes, a happy wife, a happy home. And I'm just like, you know what? A happy inner child, a happy life. Because if we don't honor our past and the parts that of ourselves that made us ourselves, like, we will never be happy. We have to be okay with who we were in order to be who we want to be. We have to be okay with who we are now, with all our flaws, while working towards who we want to be. And along that same token, make 2025 the year where you honor, uphold, and just fucking commit to your commitments, commit to your word, because that is what builds that sense of trust, safety, security, and character in your body and in your life. So make 2025 the year that you commit dead on to the plan, even if it's not the right plan. Like, there's this conception of right and being right. Like, you never really know until you try. You gotta go through so much trial and error, or just like be able to just commit. I think that's the thing, commitment. Because once you commit to something, you can continue to chip away and refine the things that are not working. And then ultimately you create the right plan out of all the wrong plans. But you'll never get to that right plan if you never try the other plans. So yes, it's very, very much important. 2024, I learned to sit with discomfort in my body, and just 100% accountability and responsibility for myself. You know, I realized I have struggled a lot within my own home and relationships, but the finger is always pointing back at me because I'm the one that chooses to live a crazy, stressful, chaotic lifestyle. Given, with my, because it's like, you got to do what you got to do for work. Like, there's no out of that. And the fact that I have to travel over 4+ hours a day for work is crazy. And that's nobody's fault. So if I'm in a pissed, tired off mood at the end of the day, which doesn't really, I guess I get physically tired, but spiritually and mentally, like I always got something in me. Um, really working on the Meta Beauty Physique this year. I've really been able to fine tune my energy, but let's forget we also have a physical body, so we can't neglect our physical body. We have to find that balance. That's another theme for 2024, like finding that mind, body, soul balance and being like, okay, like my mind and soul, we're always ready to kick it. Like, we're always ready to fucking just hammer, kill a workout. But it's like, holy shit, like you're fucking breaking your body, bro. And it's crazy. So it's like you have to just find that balance, you know? What else did I want to say? Perfectionism. I knew this one was coming. I'm fucking Miss Perfect, never fucking fail, never do anything. And it comes with a fucking cost, It's a lot of pressure and tension, which at this stage of my life, like, I'm okay with not being okay because I trust myself to always make it through. And letting go of perfectionism, you know, once and for all. Like, just doing our best and knowing it is a process. Like, I did fucking build this in years of like school and just like bodybuilding and stuff like that. But ultimately, flexibility is very, very important. Our ability to move, adapt is like literally key to life. It's always going to be survival of the fittest, and those who are able to adapt and be more flexible will always win. So perfectionism does contribute to rigidity and just like not flexible. And to be honest, that doesn't feel good in your body because you can't move that much and or your life. So really embracing flexibility and letting go of perfectionism. Just focus on truly giving your whole heart and soul to everything every day, and you'll never lack. You'll never lack because you're doing all that you can with all that you have. And I'm very much one to say, like, sometimes, like, your best is always gonna be enough, right? But like, your best sometimes is not perfect, and that's hard to let go because I've lived a very much perfect existence in my own world, and I could think back to myself of when I was doing bodybuilding, like just being perfect, spot on, like, yeah, plan, execution. But it's like, as you age, you go through things and you have more responsibilities, and it's like, holy shit, like you feel like you're failing, but you're not. You're just doing the best that you can with what you have, you know? Yeah, so just be okay with just giving your best every day, and knowing that your best is going to be different every day. Life is life. Our energy fluctuates. Things happen. But commitment to the process, commitment to ourselves, and just commitment to just mastering every moment and mastering it every day. That's it. And you realize how much time just slows down so beautifully when you have that perspective, because the world is just living years at a time and missing all the beautiful moments that make up their life. So just really slowing down, learning to honor the moment, the breath that creates each moment, and yourself is just, it's beautiful. And if you could just do that every day, like, I think that's winning in life, because you're actually there. You're not living life blindly. You're taking every single thing in, and that's very important. So this was somewhat of a lengthy video. I don't think it's done. This is all I could really put together right now off the spot, but yeah, I hope that to continue in 2025, I'm definitely looking forward to make more content and really, really just being a resource for people. I know how hard life can be when you just have so many sources of information and nothing really comes together, but I really do want to be that resource for others and just guide people on their journey. So, with that being said, I wish you the best for 2025 and for you to grow in love and peace and harmony in the relationship that you have with yourself and your body.